And we're live. Welcome to another Monday, which means it's MCU Mondays. I'm your host, Chris. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Debbie. Debbie, how's it going?
It's going good.
Glad to hear that. I am. I'm just wiped out from seeing that movie. It's a weird... Have you ever felt, tired after going to a movie? I don't know why. It shouldn't make you tired, but...
I was tired when I saw literally the midnight show of Return of the King.
Yeah, midnight show, I understand. I saw a movie this afternoon, and afterward I was like, I'm exhausted. Did I get enough sleep last night? What's happening? And it wasn't the movie that did it. Here's my review. Ant-Man put me to sleep. No, that's not what I'm saying. Yeah, anyway, it's MCU Mondays. We're going to be talking about Ant-Man. We're joined, as we usually are, by David down in the corner, the host of... Well, I guess Debbie's the co-host for that, too.
Sure.
No idea. I just show up every week.
The Thursday
He's there every week. Why not?
The Cantina Happy Hour Thursday nights where they talk about Star Wars stuff. So glad to have David here with us. And we have a special guest today from the Geek Gauntlet podcast. That's Shah. Welcome to the show, Shah.
Thank you. How y'all doing today?
Fantastic. So tired from seeing that movie. I don't know what it is. So maybe it's not the movie. Maybe it's something. Maybe I call it mono. That makes you tired, right? It's just you're getting old.
As you get older.
You're just gonna get more tired until you die.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, crew? Geek on the podcast in the chat.
There's William.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's up is that we are talking about Ant-Man. That's the main focus of the night. So if you've seen it, we want to hear your thoughts as well. Tell us what you think of Ant-Man Quantumania. Tell us in the comments. We'll look at that. We'll talk about it. We'll hear from everyone here. I'm excited to talk about it. I don't want to spoil anything else. So for now, let's... there will be spoilers, okay? So this is going to be a spoiler discussion. So if you don't want spoilers, then you're going to have to wait. Because we're talking about everything, and there's already some memes out, and it's absolutely hilarious. But yeah, Ant-Man, we're talking about it. Let's do the theme song, and then we can get into this.
Theme song guy.
Oh yeah! So who the hell are you? I'm Ant-Man. Ant-Man. What, you haven't heard of me? No, you wouldn't have heard of me. That was a lot scarier a second ago.
We had a dream we'd go traveling together. We spread a little love and then we'd keep moving on.
Well, Ant-Man, Quantumania. Again, spoiler warning. This is your last spoiler warning. I'm going to actually make a little banner to proclaim that we're talking spoilers. So, overall opinions, scale of 1 to 10. What'd you think of the movie, Debbie?
I enjoyed it. I would probably give it maybe a 7.5. I did have some issues with it, but other than that,
7.5. Mm-hmm. All right, David. 1 out of 10.
I'll say it's the best thing that they've put out since Endgame, I think, and that includes all of Phase 4. In my opinion, this is just what I think. But again, I think I'm going to go with Debbie, and I think I'm going to be a 7.5 on this one. It was good, but it wasn't oh my gosh, this is the best thing Marvel's ever done, ever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, Shah, 1 out of 10.
I gotta agree with 7.5. I mean, I would have said 8, but I would have also said maybe going down to 7.5. So I agree. I mean, it's enjoyable. It's really good. I mean, it's not bad at all. A couple issues here and there, but it's good.
All right, so I guess it's my turn. I would say, I guess 7. I was thinking 6.5, 7. Yeah, like it's good. It's like a lot of the things, like David, you said, a lot of the things in Phase 4 I would have rated like lower than that. So this is better than a lot of things we've had recently. I'll definitely say that. And there was definitely a lot of humor to it. Some of
but it wasn't over the top like Thor was. Though.
Yeah.
And it wasn't forced.
And it's also Paul Rudd, which is already like the Ant-Man movies have been like the comedies. Like, yes, they're all superhero action movies, but like these are the ones that are even more comedic than the regular amount of like Marvel humor. And so that's the character that's already established. Like they joke about him being Ant-Man, and the jokes pretty much come naturally. Like there were some things where I wasn't sure about, but I'll bring those up when we get to that part in the story. So let's go through the movie. Let's break it down. Talk about it. It starts out with him just walking down the street and talking to the audience. Well, it doesn't.
It starts
really
with
start that way.
Yeah,
it's Michelle Pfeiffer in the Quantum Zone.
It starts in the Quantum Zone, and she's like, something falls as she first meets Kang, and it's just a glimpse. It's almost nothing. That's why I forgot it for a second. I was like, yeah, it just starts up. Oh wait, yeah. There's a tiny little hint that there's something there. But yeah, then we go and we see Scott Lang walking down the street, having a great day. He's written a book. He's just chilling, and it's humorous.
I think what made it so funny is if you remember back to Endgame when they're having the breakfast or whatever with the Hulk, and the kids come up and take a picture. Oh, you want to take a picture with me? I'm Ant-Man, and the kids are like, we don't even know who you are. And now everybody knows who Ant-Man is. So it just adds to it. It's like, okay, he's reached that level now, so he's excited about it.
We got some people in the chat I'm going to bring up first. We got Firsty Always. How's it going, Nigel? Good evening to you. I happen to know that his name is Nigel, so that's
kind of, wow, you're
I know. Okay, what's we got? Elaine. My critic of the movie: too much Michelle Pfeiffer, not enough Ant-Man and the Wasp. I
have a comment about that.
I think it was
disagree. Let's talk about that. Shaw, what do you think?
I mean, we got some emphasis on Janet, and I think it was enough. Like, we had this whole family dynamic with the whole group. We had more with Hank, more with Janet, and I don't think that they overtook anything. I think it was enough. It was like an ensemble type of thing.
Yeah, so it was a grouping together. Well, then they should have called it like the Ant-Man team, or is there a name for them? I guess like what, the Hive?
Well, look at it this way.
The colony.
Hank was Ant-Man at one point. They were both the respective characters
both
at
Ant-Man
one.
and the Wasp. Yeah.
So I mean, you had two generations of Ant-Man and the Wasp. So
It actually
That
worked.
was going to be my point. Janet was originally the Wasp.
Technically works.
Yep, that's true. So too much Michelle Pfeiffer, not enough Ant-Man and the Wasp. So technically, she was the Wasp, and Hank is the original Ant-Man. But he did show up with the ants. So that was kind of important. So yeah, technically, that was Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's from a certain point of view.
from a certain point of view.
Yeah, either way you look at it, you got a bunch of Ant-Man. Evening. Greetings from Michigan. Greetings to Michigan. Derpy Entertainment. Damn you, Hollywood. Oh, man. So, yeah, there was a lot of comedy in this film. It was, like, mostly comedic, peppered in with, like, serious moments. When Kang was doing some stuff is when things really dipped to the super dramatic, like, oh, crap, okay, things... He was villainous. Let's talk about Kang.
Well, it wasn't just him. I mean, it got real serious anytime they were talking about him. And you had this whole Voldemort thing going on. With,
Yeah, there was a while where they were just like him, and there was like you never originally said who it was.
Who is him?
Chilling Midwood from now on. Midwood sounds not great. I guess Hollywood sounds weird too when you think about it. Hi, folks. What's going on, Eddie? We're talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Spoilers abound. And yeah, speaking of Kang, though, I've read other reviews where they're like he kind of stole the show, and he kind of did.
I'll buy that.
Yeah, he commanded the screen when he was on.
And again, spoiler alert, spoilers coming. We're just talking about everything. So let's talk about the end credit scene as well. The arena. Okay, spoilers. I've said that many times, just letting you know. There's an arena of Kangs, and they're like, yeah, they took down Kang the Conqueror. Took down, and that's left up in the air. So, like, for the purposes of this movie, he's gone, but he's not, like, dead. Okay. So, we'll talk about that in a second. But so, one of the end credit scenes is an arena full of different variants of Kang. And I was just like, oh man, they just introduced like Jonathan Majors and gave him this great like chance to display his acting abilities in this role. And now they're like, oh yeah, we've got like a million other
but actually
Kang roles for him to fill.
You know, it's funny, and I didn't even know this, but Luke said it to me because when that kicked on and he perked up when the Pharaoh one was on there, and he was like, oh, that's related to Moon Knight. He said, that's from Moon Knight. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Well, we just had Moon Knight, the series, and possibly we're shooting season 2. Can we tie it into that?
The thing is, though, with that, it's like what? So it's from a different reality, though. Well, because that's something actually someone said that they didn't like about it. It's like there's no stakes anymore. Anytime a hero dies, you just throw in a new one from a different reality. Like,
y'all not know where this is leading up to?
Well, that's a super spoiler, but go ahead and say it.
I mean, they mentioned the word incursions a lot. We're leading up to Secret Wars, meaning everything's going to be gone. Everything.
Yay! Prime timeline.
It's like Person of Infinite Earths, only was much bigger.
Shut it all down.
Shut it all down. Take a break.
Secret Wars
Reboot.
coming out? Somebody look that up.
2016, I think. Though that might be different now since they're extending.
They pushed some stuff back. I know the Marvels got pushed back.
Yeah, I think only. Well, let's see. We got Loki season 2, Secret
May
Wars,
1st, 2026.
and then Marvels in November. So we'll only get 3 shows this year.
Well,
Push everything else back.
I think they should slow down a bit.
Well, and somebody, I saw a meme or somebody had commented about this to where it's like, oh, it looks like Marvel's finally kicking back to going to quality over quantity. Whereas with Phase 4, it seemed like, I mean, there was a new show every other week. You know, oh, we got this show, and then once it's done, we've got a week off, and then we got this show, and then there's a movie coming out, and then there's another one, and a special, and a holiday special, and all this other stuff. So I look at it like that, to where, okay, we're gonna make some quality movies now versus just as much as we can cram in there.
And I mean, that's kind of how they built the MCU in the first place. Although, yeah, they did start coming out with more stuff there at the end. But with like combining the movies and the TV shows, it's a lot. Although the second after the credits scene was about Loki, so Loki season 2. Look forward to it. They're on the hunt for Kang. Although I don't know how that's gonna work, because that
I thought Owen Wilson was brilliant in that. Just in the 2 lines that he had. Wow, that's him.
He doesn't look scary.
Oh, wow.
The way you talked about him.
I'm just glad he's still alive after that season 1. where that you thought he died, and then it's like he's alive, thank goodness. Although at the end, speaking of Loki, at the end of season 1, we see him looking up at a statue of Kang.
3.
So,
3 statues.
Okay, whatever. Statues of Kang. My point is,
I assume they're the same one, but
if Owen Wilson's working there, how does he not already know who Kang is?
Well, we'll see what the story is.
Yeah, fair enough. So I guess back to Ant-Man. Let's see. They end up getting sucked into the quantum realm just because Janet never told him not to mess with the quantum realm. She acts like she told him, but I was like, you were harvesting energy from there. That's how Ant-Man got trapped there. You were sending him there. She's like, I told you never to go there. I was like, you took them there. I don't know what you're talking about. So they just make it a thing that's like, okay.
that was the one thing I got really frustrated with, was that they kept asking her, even after they got stuck down there, they kept asking her, and she just kept saying, I'll tell you later, or what. And I'm just tell them so they know what to expect, for Christ's sakes. Jeez. Yeah, that part kind of frustrated me.
And if he's that dangerous,
why wouldn't you warn him?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Why
let
wouldn't
him
you
know?
be taking all the precautions? Well, I guess she does start freaking out when she finds out they've been doing that, but it's all kind of like, just go along with it. All right, that all happened, and now they got sucked in, and they got separated. What did you think of the special effects?
With the exception of one thing, it was all pretty good. I think we all know what that one thing was.
MODOK?
Yep.
I didn't have a problem with MODOK. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
It looked like he had his face in a jar.
Yeah, it just needed to be polished more. Like a good couple months of more CG.
It didn't almost even look like him in some of the shots, and I was like,
Yeah,
well, I
'cause
guess
face is so.
he is, yeah. And I was like,
Yeah.
if they just made, because I think he did great in the first Ant-Man, and like when he would like lose his crap because he started losing, he had a very short fuse in that movie, and he just started screaming. I think that would have made that MODOK a little bit better, because like I didn't hear much out of my theater, but I definitely heard people laughing at MODOK, and not because he said something funny. It was just because like, look at that thing.
Look at that silly thing. Yes.
We got to see his little butt, his little legs, little butt.
Yeah, that was another part where I was like, oh, good thing. Couldn't have kept that in silhouette. Fine, whatever. If you're gonna, well, you have to do it to Thor, now you have to do it to MODOK. Just every character is just gonna be. MODOK, yeah, didn't look great. I mean, with the shield down, I was like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
It was every time I put it up there, and I think that was part of it. I mean, that was part of the joke. Like the first time Scott sees that it's him, he's like, "Oh my God, Darren!
Darren,
what happened to you? I'm not Darren. I'm MODOK." It's like, actually, that'd be MODOK.
Oh, I
love
get it.
that.
It's an anagram. I got it. I got it. No, the best was when he shrunk down to go shrink his thing up, and he was like, "Okay, Darren, I'm in. Darren, can you hear me? Darren, okay, fine. MODOK, I'm in. Yeah, what's up?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
let's see. So, okay. Like I said, this is mostly like a comedy peppered in with action and like superhero stuff. So Bill Murray's in it. I was going to say, what did you think of the other creatures and people that we met
I have holes
in, the quantum realm?
I liked him. For one thing, I kept thinking of Korg. and not because it's like because they kept saying revolution. We're trying to lead a revolution against him. We're trying to revolt against him and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, oh, you sound like Korg. Okay. And you've got a big burly guy who's the, the guy with the cannon for a head. And, you've got the strong female leader. And okay, you're replaying this same trope. Okay, I get it. But I don't know. I thought the gooey guy was funny. And when they when they were chanting at him and he drinks it and it turns into
goo.
Drink the goo.
I was like, I knew it. Yeah, that was definitely fun. You drink the guy. Hey, you just drank my goo. Do you have any goo? How many holes do you have? Stop asking people about their holes.
And he stopped and think about it. I've got 7.
I've got 7. It's like, yeah, that's accurate. Yeah.
Oh, and the telepath guy, I loved him. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
He was in the show A Good Place, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was GD.
Yep. Yeah, he plays a telepath in this, and he's very funny. Stop thinking that. Stop thinking that. I'm telling you to stop thinking that. I'm trying to stop. I'm really trying.
But your glowing forehead is so cool.
But it wasn't.
You don't actually think that. I know. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said I did.
He was funny, but it was because he was so straight-faced and so serious about it.
Yeah, because he's like, I hate being a telepath. I hate it because everybody is gross. Okay. When he said that, I was cracking up. I was like, yeah, you can't help but overhear what people are thinking at any given time. It's just like, oh my God, because you can't tell him to shut up, right? But that's exactly what he tries to do. So stop thinking that. Oh my gosh. Because people, are going to think whatever they think. People are gross. The unwilling telepath. That's such a good bit. Yeah, so that guy was funny. I loved when they shot up the one guy at the end. The guy who was asking about holes. The guy who was like, you drank my jelly or whatever. And then he's just like, I have a hole now. And he eats the soldiers. And the telepath's like, I didn't know he could do that. Yeah, there's just so much comedy happening throughout most of this, and that's why I say Kang really brings it like to a halt, because even when MODOK comes around, he was like daring and he's still like joking with him and messing with him and stuff, but when Kang comes in, he like shuts that down and starts torturing him and his daughter, and it's just like, what, do you think I won't kill her? Do I look like a liar to you? And it's like, okay, the jokes have stopped. The fun and nonsense has taken a back seat to this guy who's about to seriously murder your daughter, which is what I totally called it when we were talking about this last week. Because someone was like, well, he said we could give you more time. And I was like, no, he's definitely going to threaten his daughter because we know Scott will do anything for his daughter. And so, yeah, he does. He goes on another heist. I need you to steal something. Are you really telling me you couldn't? Does he not have the shrinking technology? He has every technology but the Pym particle, I guess. That's his thing. He's like, I have technology beyond anything you've ever heard about. Do you have this? No. Even
Janet said he's got technology that's centuries above what Earth has. Centuries beyond Earth.
Yeah. And I was like, but apparently he lacks the ability to shrink. He can go anywhere in but that is what trapped him in the quantum realm. So I guess he never discovered the Pym particle somehow. And that's why that's what's the plot, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Kang is trapped in the quantum realm. And, he doesn't know how to get out. How do you get out? Using the people that have gotten out before. And that's also why, at the very end, when it looks like Ant-Man and the Wasp might be trapped there, it's like, well, they're not going to be, because they still have that van where you can hop into the quantum realm from the back seat of it. So, yeah.
Well, and they all stepped through it through the little portal, and then you saw the machine go and it fried and everything, and I was just like, all I got to do is fix the machine. And she built the machine, so she probably knows how to fix it, so they're going to be there for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it's like, why does that satellite have the ability to open a gate to the quantum realm? Because you don't understand the science, okay? It's small. All right, you don't get it. There's worlds within worlds down here. If we could just be socialists like these ants, we could do anything. Dude, when Hank Pym was talking like that, I was like, oh my God. They're ants, dude. You have mind control over the ants. Now, these happen to be super smart ants because they went through like a time warp or something, which was super convenient for them, by the way.
Yeah, they lived 1,000 years in their own little
They advanced their technology.
or whatever.
These super ants advanced technologically 1,000 years while we were experiencing time normally. How convenient for the story. Continue, please. Oh man, that was ridiculous. But you're just sitting there, you're like, all right, cool, whatever. It's a comic book movie. They're in the quantum. What do you know? I don't know. Sure, that's what happens down there.
Why not?
We're just lucky that the rest of them didn't get trapped for. Even though Scott even says that, he's like, we could be for 10 minutes or 10 years. And then his daughter was being, oof. She was not happy. What did you guys think of Cassie?
I liked her. She wasn't bad.
She grew on me as the movie went on.
I think she also grew a little bit as the movie went on.
And that's probably
literally she expanded, yes, but also intellectually and psychologically.
I thought the relationship between her and Scott was interesting because it was so strained. Yeah, because she was upset that he wasn't using his Avenger status to help the people who had gotten displaced because of the blip. And I'm like, well, what are the other Avengers doing? He's not the only one.
He's the only one who can shrink. Yeah. He didn't put out a call. There was no call to the Avengers. And he's like, I took care of it. Even at the end of the movie, yeah, he shouldn't you call somebody? Isn't there somebody you should warn? Hey, just as a heads up, damage control or whatever, right? Even that terrible organization. Give them a call and be like, just as a warning.
They'd probably make it worse.
Here, just put this in the file. I went to the quantum realm and met a guy who travels the multiverse, and he said something terrible is coming. So just be on the lookout for something terrible. We're always on the lookout for something terrible. Well, be extra lookout for Kangs.
I have a question because I noticed a name in the credits. Did anybody notice Wu?
Yeah. He was at the first in the montage at the first when he was walking around getting coffee and everything. He was there.
He was getting lunch or whatever with Wu. He's like, two people paid for their lunch. It was in the montage.
I don't know how I missed that, but I seen his name in the credits, and I was like, I don't remember him in this.
Yeah, he had a goatee, so he wasn't clean shaven like he's been in past iterations.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was just in that little montage. It was like,
oh, Debbie's got to go back and watch it again now, so
blink
she can
and you miss it.
I'll wait till it comes out on Disney Plus.
Let's see. Okay, I thought the living type spaceships were cool. Like, so speaking of the graphics, I think they did do a really good job with most of the graphics, other than MODOK, but pretty much everything else was looking pretty crazy, and pretty much everything in that movie was CGI. Once they went to the quantum realm, it's like everything now is CGI.
There was somebody, or maybe it was several people that were complaining about so much CGI, and I'm like, how else did you think?
What did you think they were going to do?
You think they were going to go to the quantum realm to film there? I mean, they probably could have saved some money if they had done that, but hey.
Yeah, I didn't understand the thinking there. I was like, that's why it's called Quantumania, people. They're in the quantum realm.
It's part of the draw. If you're not a fan of that, this movie probably wasn't for you. Who bought those tickets for you? You buy them yourself? There were other choices. You didn't have to go to I didn't like all the CGI. Why did you go to that film? But yeah, for the most part, they did a good job. The MODOK, though, yeah, that was a little bit rough. But then when they did, I mean, like the ants, all the different living vehicles, which were also pretty cool. Or at least some of them were alive. Some were like half alive. It was weird. It was neat.
It was different.
And it's supposed to be like, although when he said, this is the quantum realm, it's a place outside of time and space. And I'm like, and yet we're here occupying space and going through moments of time. So it's not totally outside of it, right? Like,
He said the same thing. Oh gosh, who was it? Jeff Goldblum. Not the Grandmaster. What was his name? In Ragnarok.
Jeff Goldblum in Ragnarok.
Yeah, he said we kind of live in this place is kind of outside of time and space.
Well, works differently.
It works differently here. Yeah.
The quantum realm is supposed to be like outside of it in a way. It's the world beneath ours, which I do like that concept. It's just a basic mythological underworld or secret world or upside down. Take your pick.
All I kept thinking was the Futurama episodes where they go into the sewers and they've got the mutants and no from the world above.
Yeah, because all the crazy mutants still keep saying that. Well, you come from the world above. He came from the world above. Oh man, I like how also it was like. So wait, Bill Murray's there, and there are other people that look like humans there, and then they ask him, "Are you a human?" And he's like, "No." I was like, "Wait, are you or are you not a human? How did these humans get down here?" And then they also bring it up another time. It's like this blows away everything we thought about, human evolution. That chemistry, biology. Holy shit! That guy looks like a broccoli.
It looks like a broccoli.
And I think in that moment of the film, they're kind of telling the audience, like, don't overthink it, okay? It's a crazy realm of nonsense, and anything can happen here.
Well, all those different
down the rabbit hole.
All those different
literally
people and species, they were all victims of Kang taking or conquering their world. So they were just refugees.
I thought they were just people of the quantum realm. Because Kang got banished there, and then he took over what was already there.
And then he conquered there.
Yeah.
And that was after he had already conquered all the multiverses. He got exiled there by the other Kangs. Hence those Kangs gathering in the arena of Kangs. So many Kangs. Yeah, it's just so funny to me that the one thing I needed to get out of the quantum realm was Ant-Man. Couldn't have done it without Ant-Man, and technically still hasn't. But yeah, what did you think of when he goes into the? Speaking of cool special effects, when he goes into the multiversal engine core, Shah, what did you think of that?
I liked it. I mean, it had one of my favorite moments where he's being kind of buried by all of themselves, but then he hears coffee, and because of that, they all start working together in unison. It's a really heartfelt moment, in my opinion. I like that.
Yeah. So the moment Shah's talking about right there is Ant-Man's trying to get into this engine core, and doing that causes infinite probable selves to explode out of it. So there's millions or like hundreds of Ant-Men all scrambling around trying to, each in their own way, to achieve this goal. And then they finally start working together after they hear the sound of his daughter's voice. And that allows them to like work together and kind of achieve their goal. And the special effects that are happening during that part are just like crazy. There are ant-men everywhere. There's one of them.
The Duncan, not Baskin Robbins.
Dude, when he first showed up, because they're all wearing the Ant-Man uniform, then the Baskin Robbins Ant-Man shows up, and you hear in the background one of the other Ant-Men goes, "Did you bring ice cream?" Oh man, that was great. Yeah. And so even in that really serious kind of moment, they managed to infuse some humor into that in a pretty original and pretty fun way, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that moment was great, Shaw, when all of him come together, and then the Wasp has also come down, Janet Van Dyne, and then the same kind of deal kind of starts happening to her, and then as soon as they get together, all the other probabilities vanish because it's like their love is stronger than math or something.
Well, it honestly, when I saw that, and they said, "Oh, probability loop," the only thing I could think was in Infinity War, when Strange was looking ahead into the future, and he goes, "I just went and saw," and he said, "There's 13 million and one different possibilities that could end, or 13 million and one different avenues that we can take. How many did we win? One." Well, this was the same thing. It's like, okay, this Ant-Man is going to do this but fail, but these other 15 million are going to be doing something else to try and fix the issue.
I think it's just cool how they can work together to
make a mountain of Ant-Man.
And because the other thing is, like, the Kang and MODOK are like, they're not real. And they keep saying that it's like they're not real, but then you keep bumping into them. It's like they feel real, like they're physically able to do things. Like, I know that they're just probabilities, but it's actually, this is a multiversal engine core. Probabilities can become things. Like, that was awesome. And then they get it, and then Kang easily defeats them. He swats them like little bugs, actually. They jump up to punch him, and he just is like, whoop, flick, bye. And I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, crap.
That doesn't bode well for you. You just got the item that he was desiring, gave it to him, and then got very easily defeated. The whole thing about Ant-Man is you're not actually supposed to be able to squash him like a bug. And in that moment, they were just like, you're an annoyance. So I was wondering then how they were going to beat Kang.
I did not see the ants coming.
I don't think Kang did either.
In the Ant-Man movie.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe I kind of did, because every once in a while you'd see Hank and he's listening in on his little
they gave you little clues, and I was like, the ants, because the other thing, and I'm like, I try to be eagle-eyed when I'm watching these things. I was also trying to keep track of the hero's journey throughout. But when they're first falling in, he slides on the ant farm that has fallen in, and they are bigger than him when he's falling. And I'm just like, the ants are there. And then the other reason that was because when Bill Murray's talking, he asks Hank, he's like, do we have ants here? Because he's asking, but do we have ants here in the quantum realm? And Bill Murray and Hank's like, no, I don't think you do. And I was just like, oh, there we go, secret weapon. You've got ants. You're the Ant-Man, and he's the Ant-Man that really likes using ants. He's all about these ants. I think he likes the ants a little too much. But he learned how to telepathically communicate with them. So
just, I mean, the Bill Murray scene. Look at his love life. Obviously, he cheated on Janet, and Janet.
Well, they both said they had needs.
They had needs. Yeah, we know what that means. That's what the teenagers call it these days. We have needs.
Sexy needs. The needs of the nighttime lovers in between the sheets. Yeah, I had those kind of needs down here in the quantum realm. So what did you do with Kang when you were rebuilding that ship of his? How long did that take? Well, there's only one seat in my ship, so let's take a nap here together. We've got plenty of time to fix this ship. Trust me. Time? Baby, let me tell you about time. Got all the time you need. And so, speaking of the time machine that he uses, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought his ship was pretty cool. Like his Kang's whole deal, I was like, okay, that's pretty. But he was defeated in this, so I guess he's going to come back even stronger than we saw him here. But in this, he's got these like laser beams that disintegrate people. He's like super strong when he's in his suit. He's got.
I like the fact that when he's in his suit, he still looks like. I mean, he doesn't look like the comic book Kang until like his helmet goes on.
Yeah, the visor kind of closes.
The visor closes, and then it's like, oh, okay, now I see it. Now I get it. And even the scars on his face, I believe in one scene, even they were like glowing. So it was like, okay, he looks a lot more comic book accurate.
Oh yeah, when he starts going like full power on the people that like before the ants show up at the end, but when the revolutionaries are still retreating or whatever, and he goes out and starts like blowing people up, you can see all that stuff happening. It's like, oh man, he showed up now. Yeah, then the ants come in, and that's the other thing I was thinking when the ants show up. And there's this is like this huge climactic battle that's happening, and they start to overwhelm him, and then MODOK shows up and takes down Kang's shield in just a ridiculous manner, which is like, okay.
I am not a dick.
Yeah, I'm not a dick. It's like, you kind of look okay. Anyway, then Kang gets overwhelmed by the ants, and they like take him down and kind of like drag him away. And I'm like, what are we doing? Why don't we stop and murder him right now? Right? Have we philosophically decided that it's morally just to kill this guy before he takes down more entire timelines? If people are willing to kill Hitler as a baby or whatever, this guy, it's
How
like
do we
Don
find Baby
Cheadle's
Thanos
argument. Yeah, and wring his neck. Like that is exactly what they should do. But they let him go. He gets away, and I'm like, okay, so we haven't seen the last of him in this film.
Well, it's the comic book trope. If you kill your bad guys, you don't have any more bad guys to fight in the next series of comic books. So you can't ever kill them. You've got to leave them alive, or they have to survive somehow, even if they're cloned and brought back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man. And then actually when him and Ant-Man are fist fighting, oh man. Like Ant-Man, he knows what he's doing. Don't get me wrong, but Jonathan Majors Kang was just like he's like faster with his punches, hit harder. It was just like,
well, he's Jonathan Majors is the antagonist in the new Creed movie that's coming out too. Mm-hmm. So I'm anxious to see that one.
Well, he definitely put those fists on display in that final battle, especially, which I thought was great, because not just because he whooped Ant-Man and then. But also because it shows he's not just completely reliant on like his suit or whatever. It's like even without his suit, he's just like takes this dude down. Yeah. There's strength there. It's not just straight. He's physically strong and also apparently.
Well, it was like they did the same thing with Thanos in Endgame, to where he was fighting Thor and Iron Man and Captain America all by himself without the gauntlet. He didn't have any of the Infinity Stones. He didn't have any of the special powers that he had in Infinity War. So
why don't we just find baby Thanos, and
first of all, that's horrible.
It's Thanos.
No, it's not.
First of all, that's horrible.
I remember when people thought Ant-Man was going to deal with Thanos. Shrink down inside and then expand. Oh, so this was a meme that I saw right before we started the stream, and I was like, no! I should have put it on earlier when we were talking about MODOK. So on the left is Spy Kids.
Yeah, that's about right.
And on the right, look at their costumes, too.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Did Robert Rodriguez direct this Ant-Man movie?
I looked at that. I was like, oh no. Because I remember like that whole Spy Kids movie was all in like really badly done, but like CGI. Oh my gosh. Debbie, do you have anything that you want to talk about that I didn't cover yet? Or does anyone have anything that I didn't cover that you want to talk about? As far as Ant-Man is concerned. See, that's a maybe.
Well, just as far as the second end credit scene.
Okay, yeah.
Do you guys know who Victor Timely is?
Victor Timely. So is that the guy who was on the stage?
That's the Kang variant.
Kang
Yeah.
variant. It looks
Yeah,
like
he's
like old-timey Kang.
Yeah, he's an industrialist. He's a mayor. He's an inventor. He founded, excuse me, Timely, Wisconsin. In the comics, he's actually Kang Prime, who, he's pretty dangerous. And he's from the future. In the comics, he had a portal to his main base where he could freely be Kang Prime. And often he would have robots that would take his place as Mayor Timely, which brings me back to season 1 of Loki, because remember when Loki got dropped in and they were scanning him and they said something about robots?
Yep.
So
Wow.
I don't know if that leads to that.
Maybe
and
that's
also
partially that and life model decoys.
Yes.
Which are what those would be. So,
and also in the comics, he runs across a lost Victor Doom, and Victor rescues him, but he takes over as Victor Doom. So there's that possibility. Fantastic Four.
We know Fantastic Four's coming, so
we'll do something with it.
Yeah, right.
Might as well. It's about time.
Well, they said too, haven't they said that it's not going to be an origin story? It's going to be like, okay, they're already an established thing.
Good, first of all. The last thing they need is another origin. Like just throw it out there. That who are they? Well, that's the Fantastic Four. Maybe put in a little montage if people really need that. But it's one of the most famous superhero teams.
Well, they didn't give Spider-Man an origin either. They still haven't
with Tom Holland.
With the Tom Holland Spider-Man, they still haven't given him an origin yet.
So didn't need it. Just throw him into the mix.
Yeah, we had it several times.
Supposed to be about his origin.
What'd you say, Sha?
The animated series that's coming out is supposed to be about his origin. The freshman year.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man freshman year.
Yeah.
I thought they canceled that.
Nah, just I haven't heard it canceled. I mean, might have been pushed, but there's no particular release date yet.
Oh, let me Google.
Struggling with current projects. I think it said it fired some crew members. That's a report from November. Cancel. I don't know. Anyway, Debbie, you can look at that.
Yep.
But something else I wanted to talk about was the rings used in the time machine. Very similar to Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of connection to that, and or Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
And her bangle. What do you got? What do you think on that, Shah?
Probably it'll probably come up in the Marvels. Probably like that's probably going to be one of the parts of it. Like I heard that that movie is going to be big for the future. So we'll see what's up.
Yep. The Marvels, yeah, that's going to have Carol Danvers,
Monica Rambeau,
and Kamala.
Yeah. Miss Marvel. Yeah. I guess they haven't done anything with Monica Rambeau since WandaVision, right?
Yeah, not yet.
I don't think so.
So that'll be it. Okay.
As much as I hated the first Captain Marvel movie, I'm kind of looking forward to this one. Not necessarily for Carol Danvers, but I do like Kamala and Monica. So
Agreed.
So 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
And it'll, I don't know anything. I don't know if any details have even been released on what the plot to that film is. So depending on that, that could definitely.
To my understanding, it's supposed to have like the first really big incursion, and they're gonna they're gonna end up like holding it off or something.
That makes sense because I mean, her whole thing was fighting the Skrulls.
Mm-hmm.
In the first one,
I'd like to see them introduce the X-Men here and bring Rogue in the Marvels.
Stealer powers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That would make me happy.
Yeah. Well, casting a good Rogue and having a good new X-Men team, that would make me happy. I don't care how they do it. But it's been so long since now I'm gonna go watch X-Men. You know what you just did to me?
I've been watching the cartoons, so no. Yeah. I've been watching the cartoons.
You can watch them all. I watched some X-Men Evolution recently because I used to watch that when I was a kid. It's when they're all in high school.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
When
they went through a lot of plot lines in that.
When does X-Men 97 due out? Is that this year? Or
yes, this year. Yes,
this year?
Yeah,
nice.
It's going to be towards the end of the year. I think I saw in November, I'm not sure.
'87. Nope. X-Men 97. Release date. Fall 2023. Yep.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So there was conflicting reports. A lot of places said that it was canceled, but then there was an article in January. Evidently, the producer of that show said something on Twitter about that they're going to continue on with it. Mm-hmm. But he didn't say anything about a release date or anything.
Right.
Stewart said lying in bed for 3 days with COVID and a chest infection. Stream is taking my mind off it. Stewart, I hope you feel better. I hope you get better soon. COVID sucks. And a chest infection on top of that cannot be fun. We wish you well. And we're glad we could help. Take your mind off that by bringing it up and talking about it. All right. So I think we've covered most of everything that happened in Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I don't want to
the one scene at the end when he was charging Kang's fortress and he was like,
and it was huge.
We had a deal, and he's smashing things. That was
your
great.
Word is your bond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of the way that this movie is like, there were all those ships shooting at him at the same time, and I'm like, he should just be dead. But I was like, nah, because they're giving him a monster movie monster vibe. And
Godzilla.
Yeah, like a Godzilla movie vibe. And in Godzilla, all the ships come around and shoot him, but he just kind of like swats at them, and so like when they all, I'm just like, for a minute, I was just like, there's no way his suit would be able to. There's no way that. And then I was just like, nah, he's just a Godzilla right now. So that's exactly what should happen.
Although, too, it was funny because the orange slices were
referenced,
addressed.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Where he was talking to Cassie. I know it makes you hungry, right? Yeah. I don't want limes.
Limes. It's citrus.
Right? Something about the citrus.
Because in Captain America Civil War, of course, the first time that he ever goes big, when he shrinks back down, he's like, does anyone have any orange slices? Also, his suit has gotten even better. In this iteration, he has a little disc that he just slaps to his chest, and his whole suit comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's somewhat similar to. I mean, of course, Tony's disc is always there, but it was similar.
Yeah, it was like that kind of deal. Maybe he made one for all the Avengers that needed that. Although Hope had one just like that too. So it's fancy. I guess they are all scientists as well.
Well, Hope had one, and Cassie had one. And...
Yeah. Well, Hank Pym was also so dismissive of the Starks, even in the first one. He's like, "This isn't some, this isn't some toy like the Iron Man suit. This is real. This is a big deal."
So, do we think Kang is dead?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so
no.
Definitely not.
When you've got the next Avengers movie called The Kang Dynasty, you're gonna ask me if I think Kang is dead. I'm gonna say a hearty no.
Well, the thing
He's
is, they
coming
did
back.
show all the other Kangs,
Yeah,
so it could be a different Kang. So
And then-
Debbie, so that question's legitimate. But the thing is, we don't see him die. It was one thing when the ants drag him away. You see him after that. It's like he's not dead. Of course he's not dead, because I didn't see anyone take a gun and put 2 in his dome. So I cannot imagine that this guy is dead. Or
Yeah,
use some sort of
imagine-
gauntlet to snap him away. That would also magically work. But I'm saying we did not see the death happen. So he's got to because then he gets sucked into, where does he get sucked into? A multiversal engine? That couldn't have any negative side effects at some point, could it?
Yeah, I
This
think
thing
he
that can
goes
take
to
you
the-
anywhere in space and time.
I think he goes into the same place that Scott went into, the probability storm.
I think Scott actually said it best at the end. He goes, "No, I killed him, right? I think he's gone. I think he's dead. No, well, no, maybe, yeah.
You know what? I'm probably overthinking it. I'm not, and that's exactly the point. When he had those thoughts, is when he should have whipped out his red telephone or Avengers phone or speed dial, whatever he has to tell somebody there are things happening out there.
Well, he had lunch with Wu. He could have at least told Wu and said, "Hey, guess what?
By the way, Wu's in the FBI. I'm saying, like, there's these. I mean, in the Marvel universe, what about Stark Corp? Like, what are they doing currently? Or like, tell Wakanda, hey, Wakanda.
So the consensus on TikTok, because there was a lot of videos I couldn't watch until I seen the movie, so I went back and watched a lot of them. But the consensus is that since he got sucked into that core, that he's going to come back as the Beyonder.
No.
No?
And that consensus has been proved to be crap. Don't listen. don't listen to TikTok, kids.
I'm just telling you what people are saying. So.
And I want to hear why Shaw. Why you just no.
Well, first off, that has nothing to do with Kang. He's in the Secret War story, but he has nothing to do with the Beyonder. Secondly, there's honestly no need to do the Beyonder. They're gonna do the God Doom thing only with Kang. That's probably what they're gonna do. Yeah. So they don't need the Beyonder in this.
Once again, kids, TikTok is dangerous. Don't trust viral trends. Don't eat Tide Pods. Just because you see someone doing it in a video doesn't mean that you should do it.
Just look at the videos and laugh at the fools doing it."
Exactly. That's
I like the Doom prospect better than. I mean, I meant to look up who the Beyonder was or is, but I forgot to. So
he's beyond. This is beyond. He's a little bit farther.
Well, who's the bad in Guardians? That's coming up.
High evolutionary.
High evolutionary. Okay, I knew it was something.
Yeah.
Big and important sounding.
yeah,
Like
you got
the Beyonder.
Warlock, you got the evolutionary, and who knows what else?
Experimenting on Rocket Raccoon.
And then we've got, and that comes out in May. That's the first part of May.
Yep.
So we're close.
Right around the corner. Yeah, so Ant-Man, it's like a superhero action comedy with a heaping dose of sci-fi thrown in as well. Like it's a sci-fi superhero action comedy. I have seen a bunch of reviews saying it tried to be Star Wars, or it was trying to be Star Wars, and there's nothing wrong with trying to be Star Wars.
How exactly?
Oh, well, because they got in spaceships and did things, and people say things, and don't trust TikTok.
Kang had his army like an empire. I don't think.
Yeah, seriously, faceless stormtrooper. The thing is, people confuse Star Wars things with basic themes. It's like that's just
because Star Wars isn't really unique. I mean, they took a lot of things.
It's very formulaic. Yep, at least the original and prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And when you follow that formula, look, you get Star Wars. That's great. Okay, so just keep doing that.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, don't get confused.
It ain't broke. Don't fix it.
It's called The Hero's Journey. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fantastic. And if you do it right, you get great movies. I mean, and the thing is, you don't have to do it one hero's journey per movie. That's why the original trilogy works so well, is because Luke's hero's journey, I mean, especially in those last two movies, is completed through that. It's not like one movie, two movie, three. Not that you can't do that too. Indiana Jones did that. Loved that. But there's different, not just because people use the same formula, it doesn't mean you're always going to get the same answer. It depends on what you plug in to the formula. Anyway, not to get sidetracked by that. That's our Ant-Man discussion. I don't think we have anything else. Does anyone have anything else they want to say about the Ant-Man?
No, just that I thought it was enjoyable. It was fun. Yeah,
I mean, for how much special effects they had to put into it, they must have spent a lot of time on that. Even if MODOK did like look off, there were so many other things.
Yeah.
All
the different characters, the broccoli guy and the
cylinder-headed guy with the prism, and the way he died was crazy. See the way that guy got blew up by Kang, I was like, yes, that's a villain. Scary, you know.
Not afraid to kill a character we've all kind of come to enjoy.
Although that was why Thanos was so cool when we first really saw him in action, was because Infinity War is him just destroying, like just straight up everyone he comes, he just beats everybody.
Yep.
And that makes him that much scarier of a character. They did the same thing with Darth Vader. In the first one, he kills Obi-Wan. In the second one, he fights Luke and just beats him. That's why in the third one, it's like, oh my gosh, you have to beat that guy? You've never beat that guy. Yeah. So the whole Infinity Wars, and so in this one, it's interesting because we see Kang get beat. Although we do see him pretty much take like an army by himself for a while. So, and it was like a quantum realm multiverse ant army too. So there's a lot happening. I think final thoughts on the film. It's an enjoyable film that, compared to everything in Phase 4, it's, I think, a fresh beginning to Phase 5.
This will be one that I will see. I will see this one again.
And it's got me
when
looking
it hits
forward.
Disney Plus, I'll watch it again.
It's got me looking forward to the next time we see Kang, and they really did hype that up at the end with the arena of Kangs. It's like, did you enjoy watching Jonathan Majors in this film? Well, he'll be back as like all of this. you. So yeah, very fun and very funny too, for the most part. Good stuff. All right, that is it for us here on MCU Mondays. To find out more, always tune into Geek News Now. Check out geeknewsnow.net. We've also got, of course, the Cantina Happy Hour on Thursday night. What are you talking about this week?
Bad Batch. This week is our final solo Bad Batch episode, because the week after next is Mando has started. So we're gonna be talking Mando and the Bad Batch, Mandalorian and the Bad Batch. So I think they overlap for about 6 weeks. So six episodes.
6 weeks it will be.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
And I want to thank especially Shah for joining us tonight and talking about Ant-Man. Shah from the Geek Gauntlet. Is there anything else you wanted to plug while you're here, Shaw? Or
No, just Geek Outlet. Please come join every Saturdays, 10 o'clock.
Geek Gauntlet Saturdays at 10 o'clock. And as always, we'll have more MCU Mondays here at 9:30 Eastern on Mondays, because that's when we do it. Anyway, thanks for joining us to talk about Ant-Man, and we'll see you soon.
Shit! Language.
Wait a second. No one else is going to deal with the fact that Cap just said language?
Just slipped out. Find the scepter.
And for gosh sake, watch your language.
That's not going away anytime soon.
You bet your ass.
Steve, he said a bad language word.
Did you tell everyone about that?
The Hedo's imprint.
Out with the platinum bastard.
Steve doesn't like that kind of talk.
You know what, Romanov? Fury,